So before I get our next guest on, I did story a little bit about this conversation I was having with my husband Ryan, because we were talking about business relationships, because he doesn't really, I mean, he is an electrician. He works for Schmidt Electric, and he just goes to work and he does his job and he comes home, and he doesn't really have to worry about work outside of work. And it's totally different for me. I'm just thinking about what I do almost 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's more of a lifestyle than a job. But we're talking about how I meet people. I meet new people every single day. Every day I meet new people. And I love that. He was asking me why I was hesitant to work with certain people. And I said, and I made this, or why not, no, why I'm inclined to work with some people and maybe less inclined to work with other people. That's a better way to put it. It's not the business that you do, it's the way you do business. And it's not just business. I think that it's not the friends that you have, it's how you're a friend. That's why you're friends with some people and not friends with other people, because you jive that way. Are they upfront with me? Are they integrous? Are they person of word? Do they follow up? Can I really rely on them? Like, do they understand if it can't make something because of my family? And do I give them that same respect? Because I'm a working mom, it's very busy. So do they give me the same respect that I give them? To work a lot in business, not the business that you do, but how you do business. And he thought about that for a while, and he came back and said, "I'm really glad I don't have to worry about that." And I said, I'm actually really glad that I do have to think about that in my everyday life, because I feel very purposeful in the people that I have in my life, that I surround myself with, that come in and out of my day and my day to day. I really enjoy the people that I get to help, the nonprofits and the organizations and the businesses. And when they struggle, I feel their struggle, right? If their family's having a hard time, then I feel it, because I go, what if that was my family, my business? How would I want other people to help me or treat me or whatever? Yeah, fill in the blank. And that is my barometer of how I will approach other people. It's usually really helpful. It's like the golden rule, treat people the way that you want to be treated. Like, we learned that in what, like preschool or something? But like now it's like, okay, let's do the adult version of that, and let's treat other businesses the way that we want to be treated, and let's treat other business owners the way that we want our business to be treated, in a way that we want to be treated as a business owner. Doesn't that just make sense? Yes, it does make sense. But a lot of people don't get that, and they just don't treat people with that philosophy, and those people don't end up in my circles, right? They kind of end up fading themselves away out of my circle. But I do purposefully keep people around that I feel like are with that same mentality. And one of those businesses and one of those people that I purposefully keep in my circle, because I believe in them and I believe in their business and I believe in them as a person and their family, is Kevin VanReenan from Pear Up Cider. And if you ever heard of Nigel Vintners, then you know that they have a pretty long history in this valley that predates World War II. Yeah, yeah. 100 years old. Okay. So now, yeah, predates World War II. So now the grandsons of Sylvester, they're desperately trying to keep the legacy of those orchards birds. Keep it going, keep it alive. Today, I'm going to talk to one of those grandsons and the co-owner and operator of the Cider Mill by Pear Up. We're doing it live. I love it.
Ah, you're so raw.
All right, Kevin, welcome to the program. Thanks for being here.
Fun place. This year, when did you build this?
Oh yeah, we just moved in just this week. So as you can tell,
some stuff up.
On an expansion this year. It's going to be huge.
Going well.
Yeah, it's going really well.
Thank you for letting me pop in.
Oh yeah, so I do want to have a video. We're going to play the video here, but before we take a pause, because are you okay with me playing the video?
Yeah, I love how the story got told through that, because it was the story. I mean, it's like, when it's the truth and what's happening, it's a lot easier to have it come across the right way. So, and I appreciate, all the artistry that comes behind making sure the angles are right. But I was like, this is what happened. So, and it's nice to be able to tell your story instead of having the narrative told.
Right. Well, that's the thing, is that I felt like there were a bunch of different versions of a bunch of different stories that were going out there, and there still are. And now this that I wanted to happen is happening. Mm-hmm. People are coming to me and going, what's the deal? What's the real story? That's exactly what I wanted, because now I can be like, well, watch the podcast, we're going to talk about it, or I can tell them the story, and they could get the actual story, right? Instead of whatever they're hearing over here and whatever they're hearing over here. They're like, were they getting, were there complaints that they were overpouring? I'm like, no, where did you hear that? There is zero complaints about that. I was like, first of all, let's say you guys did nothing wrong.
Well, and the great thing, I mean, just to lead in, is not freedom of information, but it's just like public records request. I got a lot of the information about what was being said, and the full story that was being disseminated into the complaints against me. Everyone can get to look at it. So the county and the state, I filed many public records requests. That's where, if you want the truth, that's where they go. And then you look at the responses from the agencies, like the Liquor Control Board. No, they're fine. They have every license, but hope you have a better day. Right. I mean, it's just, and it's, you can see that when you ask for the facts. So I appreciate you bringing up the facts. Yeah. People forget about that. They forget about that for a while. Yeah.
People forget the facts, but so if we're going to talk facts, like let's go back. I mean, let's go back to really the beginning. What is the beginning?
Well, I lived in Europe. They had a thing that we didn't have in the US, hard pear cider. We had a family orchard, never tried that. I wanted it. We got it. People liked it, kept doing it, and it grew, and we needed more space. And I've always looked at kind of that area as just such a peaceful spot, got a creek, the cider mill.
Yeah.
It was there for a reason. I mean, and just a little caveat, or I guess digress slightly. People asked me right when I got out there, are your names? I'm like, look around the cider mill. There's a cider mill. I'll make it the Cider Mill by Pear Up. It's just what it is.
Where were you operating before?
We were on the 100-year-old family land about a block from City Hall in East Wenatchee. So in a space where people didn't realize there was some trees still left back out there. So the FW, my great grandpa's old packing shed, it was some amazing stories from the family. There's a fireplace in there the great grandpa had built for the great grandma for an anniversary. I mean, a lot of East Wenatchee, I mean, it was orchard. I want it to be orchard again, but that's another day.
Yeah. And so when did you move out to Cashmere?
That was not even a year ago. So we picked the family and got the farmhouse about June timeframe. And we finished out the school year where I went to school at Cascade, and where we've been for forever, and went out excited. Cashmere's always had, good schools and been a good community, and we wanted to be a part of it. Not a big trip, traveling maybe it's 10 miles to get all the way out to Cashmere. And so we set up there.
There was a house on the property.
Absolutely. Beautiful farmhouse. Almost 100-year-olds there. There's something about 100. It's a nice round. We liked it. It was there. It had history. But the mill, increase capacity. During COVID and during when there was issues with getting labor and stuff, I had to tell several places we could not onboard their market. We had to tell Taiwan, can't start with you guys, can't start with Monterrey, Mexico, can't start with some of the provinces. There are higher markets we couldn't start because we needed a few things to come into place, or a combination. We needed a lot more expensive machines, we needed more people. And so Cider Mill was the bigger space, but it was the right space. It was the space that had been making cider. And it was built for cider. It was built for enjoying cider. And that was the kicker.
It had the tasting room.
It did. And it had the outdoor, it had the creek, it had the grass that I have always tied with cider. And that's how I want people to experience my cider. Our traditional aluminum that we started with, weren't cans, because I didn't need anyone to punch a hole in the side of those, right? You're gonna drink cider a little bit more socially with
Yeah. Well, and everybody knows the lime green. I mean, everybody can identify a Pear Up can or bottle when they see it. But this was exciting. You had a new tasting room. I know you were excited. Like, what is going wrong? Well, it's like you have everything in place. You got more space for the mill, this great land. You guys are living right next door. There's a tasting room. Back in October, and we were talking about bringing in live music and entertainment, and everything was a go.
A few days before that grand opening, from a liquor control agent who had been working with quite a bit. I mean, just a really knowledgeable person, had been part of the state patrol before, and he says, I've gotten a complaint, a couple complaints regarding your licensure. I'm going to be marking them down as unfounded, but I needed to connect with you about it, let you know that this is going to be something that we will process and it'll be added to the records. And so, not an issue, it's not a mark against you, but there are people that are, complaining you don't have licenses. I told them you have everything with the feds, everything with the state that you need. We checked with the county back in April. He said, yeah, got a couple of complaints. It seems like they might be working together because they had connected with us around the same time. And it's like, okay, well, I'm glad that we did it the right way. That's kind of what I told him. But, it caused some.
Well, I mean, a couple of complaints seem like all that bad.
No, if that was where we got to leave it, that would be fantastic. That was just the Washington State Liquor Control Board. No, I kept going from there. Increased ridiculous complaints. I mean, I have to, because it's out in the public domain if you want a record request. But there was a complaint that we
didn't have a business easement,
which isn't a thing, that doesn't exist.
I was gonna ask, I don't even know what a business easement
it isn't a thing.
I don't know.
So easement for grass for utilities. So it was someone that didn't even Google right.
Why people want to complain? What is their motive? If they're not true, right?
Yeah,
so trying to think of people that are listening going, okay, well, maybe they didn't have a permit, or maybe these people really thought they didn't have these permits, and maybe that's why they're making these complaints.
So I grappled really hard to try to find out what could be the motivator, and I've actually never told you this piece, I don't think, but about 4 years ago when I threw the first Big Chill Cider Fest, we got all the cideries in the valley. I had it out in Cashmere. I was on the board of Cascade Farland. I wanted it to be in Cashmere very intentionally. Leavenworth is Leavenworth's Lake Chelan, second cleanest, third deepest lake. They got their stuff. We have our Cashmere. It's quaint. It's great. We identified as a board that they would benefit from having, just maybe a little bit more infrastructure for eventing, right? So we wanted to bring in money and give them tents, give them tables, allow them to do things like that. We got checked that the effectively, no thanks. We don't want kind of the free tents and stuff, really. We're okay. I mean, we don't want to be Leavenworth. I mean, verbatim. There's some people of that old thought process that wasn't that old. So you think there's
like old guard, new guard?
Old guard that doesn't want, that is terrified of turning overrun their quaint town with that space that we have out there. If we stretched it, we'd have 18 parking spots. I don't want more than 12 cars there at a time, because I want me or someone else who's touching the cider to be able to the experience of the people out there. It's not ever going to be overrun, but I mean, the wife said it
But you
best.
think that these this is their big touching point. They don't want the tourism, they don't want the street traffic out to your place, and that's what you have this vision being a thing business.
Yeah, and a
And there's
gathering
nothing
place.
wrong with that.
A gathering place.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time I told this to, I met the principal at the school there for our kids, and I told him, we talked about that this was happening, and I met a couple of the teachers. They're like, this is fantastic because it gives us a place to kind of gather that's not pretentious, it's relaxed, and we can communicate on a different level with our coworkers in a space that is just very unassuming and whatever you want from it. We've got non-alcoholic, we've got alcoholic, we've got just nature. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a great spot. And it was there's a lot of people I talked to there that were excited about it, but I guess there's a couple of people that aren't.
No, I think there's still a lot of people who are excited about it.
I talk
I
to them
mean, the
every day.
more people that I talk to that are excited about it, and all because we started to get some live music out there, and the more and more that we were booking them out there, people were getting excited about that being a place for art and live music, and a place for family and festivities. And so people are always looking for those places for that to happen. I have been through this process kind of here with it unfold as the months have gone on. So I don't want to diminish how much this has affected you and Steph. And before we wrap up and get into watching the video, just kind of tell us how bad has it gotten? Because the complaints keep happening and the harassment was continuing, and it has affected your ability to operate the mill and your time and your wife's time, all that. So I mean, where are you? How bad has it gotten, and where are you now?
Well, I mean, one of these neighbors just yesterday on the list that I would have happened, the Cashmere Facebook page said, I don't want to get into this more. Go check with the county if you want to know why they're closed. And we're not closed. We aren't.
Right.
We're definitely open, but the ability to produce was compromised by having to juggle all of the extra wastefulness that was inherent with false complaints and all that it's part of business. Hopefully it's part of business when those complaints are rooted in something, but none of that holds a candle to the emotional toll that it takes from neighbors with kids, kids the exact same age and grade as mine, trying to further this harassment so that my kids, the wife and I, have to be concerned about the development of the children and how they are having to see the sheriff all the time. To love to go see the patrol car during touch a truck or when you get to go downtown. They aren't happy. They're scared, and they have to be. I mean, there's a couple of the folks there feel that they're entitled to what they're not entitled to, and they've just been very inappropriate. And it's not Cashmere. I mean, it's not this valley. I grew up here. I'm fourth, fifth, whatever generation that we've been here forever. I mean, it's not our valley. I mean, we don't get on Forbes for being the place to retire because we're like that. A couple of people are like that, and that's unfortunate. Let's not let them speak for us. But we've moved out of the farmhouse, the 100-year-old farmhouse, the directly adjacent to being able to produce, because my kids are the most important.
Yeah.
And the gut wrenching part is like saying this right now are people involved in this who are, I'll just put it as bluntly as possible, and disgustingly going to now have their kids compromise most, say, those are bad parents, those are bad kids, you shouldn't associate with them. We're looking at having to pull our kids mid-year from Cashmere. No, I'm ashamed for the people who made these complaints, I'm ashamed for.
And I don't that is Cashmere as a whole, but
sure isn't. No.
these are a few bad apples, because if these kids are bullying your kids, or they're being pressured by their parents, but it sounds but these neighbors are bullying. It sounds like they're bullying you. It's like they're attempting to bully you out of business, and I don't think that's the way that we like to do business here.
This isn't trying to kick out a 35-year-old business that's been there, that you knew was there when you moved in. It's be a better person. We're gonna be fine. My girls are gonna grow up better people than other people's kids because they're learning the right things. But so at the end of the day, I'm not worried about the life win, but I'm worried about where the direction we're going. And this isn't the community we want. It's not the community I want.
Yeah, it's true. And I've felt for you and your wife and your kids, and wanted to support you as much as possible. So we started this GoFundMe campaign to help you try and recoup some of the court costs, the lawyer costs that you defend yourself against bullies. I hate it. I hate that, because that's ridiculous. I just think that's ridiculous. I think you need to get back to some normalcy and get your business back to doing business, and your kids need to get back to having their life. So that is out there. I will make sure the link gets posted.
But, I appreciate that. It's the thing that I really wanted the sharing of the story to do is to allow for on the board of the chamber to speak. I mean, because we're being skewed of Cashmere speaking inappropriately, and
right.
So I mean, let's just be better. We can. We are.
There we go. My big theme lately has been we're getting better all the time.
I'm in.
We're getting better all the time. Well, Kevin, thank you so much for being here and bringing a little splash of color, right?
Well, I did realize that the total number of lime green bottle opener shades that you had on your person was 0.
It was 0.
That
and I really do need them, because this light is literally right.
Poppin' bottle
Why
shades.
couldn't you give these to me earlier? Look at this.
Saving
eyeballs literally right at my face. I would have done the entire interview with these on.
I love it. And
yes, now I feel like I can do amazing, and I don't look so tired. So
we get music.
We're doing karaoke tomorrow,
and
a
beer garden at the home show.
Yeah,
Can I get 5 for a
beer garden
at
the home show
with Nikki Darling? Yes.
All right, man. I'm gonna let this beautifully crafted video from Sunday Brunch Film and Photo. They were integral, and thank you, Siri, integral in getting this video up. So thank you again. We'll get you back on the program, and it won't be so
No. We'll talk
trim and
about
drab.
the future.
I can't wait to get into all of that with you, because you're hilarious and I'm hilarious. And
that girl.
We could have conversations. This was not a hilarious.
Down on hilarious. I'm in. Let's do it.
This was a serious one, but not
once a
always.
year.
Soon.
Thank you.